Welcome to the Cadillac and LaSalle Club judging video, where we will review the club's judging rules and procedures. This video summarizes the CLC Judging Manual, which is posted on the CLC website under Technical and Judging. CLC judging teams are comprised of 4 people, one of whom is the team captain. If sufficient judges are not available, 3-person teams will be used. The team captain is responsible for the team performance and will handle all communications with each vehicle owner or representative. Each judge is to judge the car independently, but judges may confer, as every attempt is made to have at least one person on the team familiar with the class being judged. A team approach is particularly helpful when judging the operational categories. The judges are not to discuss their judging results with the exhibitor. However, the team captain must review all authenticity deductions by each judge with the exhibitor. When approaching the car to be judged, the team leader and team members must first introduce themselves to the exhibitor. Be polite, be friendly, be professional. First, make sure that each judge has the correct judging form for the car to be judged and that the description on the form matches the car. The orange forms are for cars in 1966 and before, and the blue ones are for 1967 and later. Make sure the vehicle identification number is correct. If the form is not correct, contact the National Chief Judge immediately by cell phone. If the National Chief Judge cannot immediately resolve the problem, please explain to the exhibitor that the Chief Judge will resolve the problem and that the team will move on to another car while the problem is being solved. Before starting the judging, make sure the exhibitor has a fire extinguisher placed beside the left front wheel. Also, make sure that the engine in the car is a Cadillac or LaSalle engine. Lacking these 2 conditions disqualify the vehicle from judging. In judging, keep in mind that the Cadillac LaSalle Club encourages the use of these vehicles, and the mere fact of careful usage should not cause the exhibitor hardship, provided that it does not adversely affect the condition, appearance, or cleanliness of the vehicle. Minor road dust or damage incurred on the way to or at the meet will not result in a deduction. However, residual grease and accumulated dirt will result in a deduction. Read each of the categories on the judging form carefully. The Cadillac LaSalle Club judging standard is that condition, appearance, and equipment as the car was originally delivered to the first owner, considering authenticity, condition, operability, and the cleanliness of all components. Any accessory approved by Cadillac, either installed at the factory or by a dealer, is acceptable. However, dealer-installed accessories not approved by Cadillac are not authentic and deductions are required. Any category where the judged items do not appear as new are to receive deductions. Only cars with an exceptional, detailed, complete restoration will approach this standard. There are very few 99 or 100-point cars. However, there will be several very nice cars. There is no deduction for over-restoration. For example, modern finishes used in place of original finish materials or show-quality chrome. However, over-restoration does not include such things as chrome plating or porcelainizing of items that should only be painted or left natural, nor does it excuse using gloss finishes where semi-gloss or flat finishes were originally used. Authenticity deductions are warranted in such situations. Team discussions, when needed, must be conducted out of the hearing range of the exhibitor and other individuals who are not team members. If the team captain and team cannot resolve any disagreement, call the National Chief Judge immediately. The Cadillac and LaSalle Club uses Scantron equipment for scoring the judging forms. Now let's take a look at the judging form that is designed for Scantron use. Each of the categories are valued at 5 points. Deductions are recorded by completely filling in the circle with the intended deduction from 0 to 5. Fill the 0 circle if the category is as new in all respects: condition, appearance, cleanliness, and operation if appropriate. If a category is not applicable to the vehicle, fill in the 0 circle. All categories must have one of the circles filled in. If not, the Scantron machine will not score the form. Also, completely fill in A, W, or C circles above the numbered circles to explain the reason for the deduction. A equals authenticity, W equals workmanship, and C equals condition. This video only hits the highlights of the 100+ categories used to judge each car. Each judge will be provided a guide summarizing the recommended deductions for each category and used during judging. Please follow these recommendations. Deductions for authenticity must be explained. Be specific. Don't just write headlight. Write left or right or both and the reason. For example, sealed beam used when sealed beams were not supplied, or wrong T3 lamp for the year. Write the reason in the space below the category title or on page 2 if more space is needed. When exhibitors obtain their judging results, they must be able to identify the problem so it can be fixed. Please print all words. Remember, we are trying to help exhibitors improve their cars. The first 16 categories on the orange judging form and the first 23 categories on the blue form, operations, require the engine to be running while judging. Judge only operability. So let's start going over each of the judging categories. Operating a component or opening any panel is to be done by the exhibitor. Before starting the engine, check for the senior badge, wreath, and/or crown for vehicles that have won these awards. Appropriate badges must be displayed on the car or there is a mandatory deduction at the top of the form. Also at the top of the form are 3 special items that should be checked before starting or judging the car's operation. Incorrect engine, chassis, or body receive special attention. Engines must be of the correct type for the year. For example, a 1941 Cadillac with an overhead valve engine is to receive a 60-point deduction, but a 1947 flathead in a 1941 Cadillac would get an authenticity deduction but not 60 points. If a lesser series body is mounted on a V16 chassis that was never offered on that chassis, then the car would get a 60-point deduction. If the body is not built by Cadillac, Fisher Body, Fleetwood, or a known bodybuilder such as Durham, a 60-point deduction is warranted unless the exhibitor has proof that the body was originally installed on that chassis. The team captain will provide all directions to the exhibitor for operation checks. Begin by asking the exhibitor to open the hood. Before asking the exhibitor to start the car, the team captain should check the engine to see if it is cool and there is no leaking gas, and the exhibitor has all accessories turned off. If cool and no gas leaks, then when the team members are positioned off to the side and not in front or behind the car or close to the engine compartment, the team captain should ask the exhibitor to start the car. The engine should start readily and idle smoothly on fast idle. Give it a couple of minutes and then the team captain will ask the exhibitor to take the engine off fast idle so the evaluation can proceed. The installation of an electric fuel pump, if not original equipment, is considered acceptable, provided it is installed in an inconspicuous and workmanlike manner and is not used when starting the engine. Closely observe the engine fuel delivery and coolant systems for any leaks of fluids. Check the exhaust system for leaks and noise while the engine is operating. The system should be reasonably quiet and contain no leaks. All windshield wipers must operate as intended, including intermittent operations, both sides, front and rear if equipped. The team captain should ask if the exhibitor wants to wet the windows before the test. Remember, vacuum-type wipers may not operate as quickly on dry windshields as they do on wet ones. The washer must also be tested. No deduction is to be made for the use of multiple ply blades on older vehicles. Horns must be safely audible. If the vehicle is equipped with multiple horns, check to make sure all operate. Also check to make sure horn sounds when the horn bar is pushed. If intermittent, the condition deduction is warranted. Category 04 is for turn signals. Older vehicles not originally equipped with turn signals may have turn signals and not receive a deduction if the lights have been installed inside existing lights. Aftermarket turn signal switch is to be neatly mounted. The use of separately mounted turn signal lights will receive an authenticity deduction unless they are of a design available in the same years as the vehicle. On vehicles originally equipped with only one tail and stoplight, the addition of an opposite tail stoplight of identical design may be installed without an authenticity deduction. Categories 03 and 05 are for the operation of all other exterior lights: head, high and low, including automatic operation, autotronic eye or later equivalents, tail, license, stoplights, fog lights, driving lights, and backup lights. The brakes, both main and parking, are checked in Category 06. The team captain shall direct the exhibitor to operate each as the team observes their operation. The engine must be running to check those vehicles with power brakes. Also check to see if the parking brake warning lights operate as intended, if so equipped. A dual circuit master cylinder on vehicles not originally equipped may be installed in a factory-like professional manner and not receive an authenticity deduction in Category E17. Interior lights, including instrument and accessory lights, instrument operation and clock operation, are to be checked for operation in Category 07. Instruments. The team captain should closely observe the instruments when the engine is started to note the operation of any warning lights as well as the instruments. Obviously, the speedometer cannot be checked, but all others can be observed for operation. For clock operation, make a note of the clock time as judging starts and then again a few minutes later. Operation of radios, checked in Category 09, also include the power antenna. Remember, tube-type radios have a warm-up period. In later models that include tape and CD players, navigation system, DVD players, and etc., these systems are checked for operation in Categories 011 and 012 on the blue form. Operation of heater, defroster, and air conditioning are checked in one category. Several separate categories are provided on the blue form to judge the operation of many different powered features on cars after 1967. If you are not sure of all the accessories, ask the exhibitor if there are other accessories to operate. All windows, both power and manual, are checked in separate category, including divider windows. It is not necessary to require full operation, but all operable windows must be checked. Sunroof operation is checked for operation in a separate category. A full travel check of all sunroofs is not required. Have the exhibitor move only enough to demonstrate both opening and closing movement. A separate category is provided for judging convertible top operation. A full travel check of all powered convertible tops is not required. Have the exhibitor move only enough to demonstrate both up and down movement. The operation of manually operated tops is not checked. There are 27 categories to judge in the engine compartment on the orange form and 30 on the blue form. There is a single category for each component or small group of related components, such as distributor and coil. Note the cleanliness of the engine compartment and all components judged. If the components are dirty, they earn a workmanship deduction. If the appearance, paint and plating, are not like new, they earn a condition deduction. If the component is not the same configuration as originally equipped or has a different finish than original, it earns an authenticity deduction. Wiring includes the physical condition as well as the appearance of all wiring. The wiring must be neat and properly routed. Bare wires, lack of terminal ends, frayed insulation, etc. require a condition deduction. The use of non-authentic wire, such as plastic when fabric was used originally, incorrect terminal ends, etc., receive an authenticity deduction. When judging the exhaust manifolds, which are porcelainized, keep in mind that some cracking of porcelain will develop with use. Minor cracking does not warrant a deduction. Also, even new exhaust manifolds will have some surface rust, but there will be no pitting. There will be no deduction for cast iron finishes like jet hot or heat-proof paint. The chassis section includes 17 categories on the orange form and 16 on the blue form. It includes the frame, underbody, wheel wells, front and rear bumpers, transmission, drive shaft, front suspension, rear suspension, exhaust system, fuel system, wheels, wheel covers, and the tires. The chassis of all vehicles must be inspected. A reasonable effort must be made to assess all undercar items. Note the cleanliness of the chassis and all components judged. If the components are dirty, they earn a workmanship deduction. If the appearance, paint and plating are not like new, they earn a condition deduction. A correct finish over a pitted substrate is also a condition deduction. If the component is not the same configuration as original or has a different finish, then it earns an authenticity deduction. Rusty and/or damaged components or a welded together exhaust system receive a condition deduction and possibly a workmanship deduction. The use of flexible pipe exhaust piping receives an authenticity deduction. However, 1952 to 1958 Cadillacs had spiral wrap flex tubing over the head pipes as an insulator, and 1930s to 1958 had an asbestos insulation on some head pipes. When judging the wheels, check the cleanliness and paint or chrome of all wheels, front and back, including wheel pinstriping. Wheel covers or hubcaps, medallions, etc. have their own category. Incorrect wheel type or size receive an authenticity deduction. Polished stainless steel spokes may be used in place of chrome spokes on wire wheels. There are 4 separate categories for tires: type, size, appearance, and condition. Unsafe tires showing serious cuts, bulges, or cord showing are to receive a 5-point deduction. If the tires are clean and well cared for, have no cracks, and appear like new, there should be no condition deduction taken merely for tread wear, 50% or less. Authenticity deductions are made for a wrong type of tire, incorrect tire size, OEM tire supplier name not on the tire, sidewall design, and white wall width. The first model year where it is acceptable to use radial tires is 1972. The interior section includes 22 categories on both the orange and blue forms. Note the cleanliness of the interior compartment and all components judged. If the components are dirty, they earn a workmanship deduction. If the appearance, fabric condition, paint and plating are not like new, they earn a condition deduction. If the component is not the same as original or has a different finish than original, it earns an authenticity deduction, as do incorrect upholstery materials and upholstery patterns. Incorrect or wavy seams earn a workmanship deduction. The interior section includes all inside window frames and interior hardware. Check for worn and/or missing knobs, handles, emblems, and the physical appearance of wood and wood graining, as well as plating and condition of any plastics. Check the condition of dash pads, paint or plating on all dash components, and condition of the steering wheel and related items. Worn items such as pedal pads warrant a condition deduction. Poor refinishing is a workmanship deduction. The seat upholstery and floor covering includes the finished floor on very early cars. Opaque seat covers receive a full 5-point deduction, as the condition of the original upholstery cannot be determined. Clear seat covers may or may not receive a deduction, depending on the visible condition and the fit of the underlying upholstery. Incorrect materials or design of the seat upholstery and not an original floor covering receive deductions for authenticity. The interior section also includes the headliner, door panels, rear shelf, quarter panels, sill plates, mirror, and limousine special features. The trunk is judged in the interior section and includes the condition of all interior surfaces, materials used, weather stripping, tools, jack, decals, and light. The spare wheel and tire is judged as part of the trunk. It must be the same as the wheels on the ground unless it is the original spare supplied when the car was new. Convertible tops have their own section to cover both the interior and exterior condition. Categories judged include material, headliner and pads, rear window, including glass or plastic, trim and side curtains, and boot. Note the cleanliness of all convertible top components when judging. If the components are dirty, they earn a workmanship deduction. If the appearance, fabric condition, paint and plating are not like new, they earn a condition deduction. If a component is not the same in configuration as new or has a different finish than original, it earns an authenticity deduction, as do incorrect top materials. Side curtains and top boots do not have to be in place, but they must be displayed so they can be completely examined. If not available, a full deduction must be taken. Vehicle top materials that are not of the correct era should receive an authenticity deduction, as must missing chrome strips on late 30s and 40s convertibles at the front, deck, and over the main bow. Item is not correct for these cars. The exterior section includes 24 categories on the orange and blue forms, but there are variations in categories to account for the differences between old and newer cars. The exterior roof area includes paint, trim, condition of sheet metal, padded roof material, soft top insert, and town car driver compartment tops. The removable cover over the driver's compartment must be displayed either installed or near the car. Vehicle top materials that are not correct for the era receive an authenticity deduction. The other exterior body panels have separate categories for each, such as front fenders. All body panels are to be judged for sheet metal condition, alignment, paint, and trim. Read each category title to determine what to judge. When judging sheet metal, examine its condition for dents, rust, and waviness. The fit and alignment of panels is a workmanship assessment. Paint is judged for all exterior panel categories for physical condition, quality and appearance of painted surfaces, including orange peel, chips, scratches, and correct color. Deductions could be warranted for condition or workmanship. Visible wax residue warrants a workmanship deduction. An incorrect color is an authenticity deduction. Any color offered by Cadillac in the year the vehicle is correct. It does not have to match the data plate paint code. However, special colors will receive a deduction unless the data plate paint code is SO or is blank. Also qualifying for a deduction are metallic paint on any 1927 and earlier car and heavy or large flake metallic, such as fire mist, paint prior to 1964. Cadillac offered many colors. Therefore, do not take an authenticity deduction for color unless you are very sure. If you take a deduction for color on one panel, you must take the same deduction for all other exterior panels painted the same color. Side glass has its own category, as do the windshield and rear window. These categories include associated trim. Chips, cracks, discoloration, and delamination of glass warrant a condition deduction. Tinted glass, used when originally not supplied and missing manufacturer's indicia, are authenticity deductions. Items such as headlights, taillights, and other components mounted on the body have their individual judging categories. Condition includes both light lenses and surrounding trim. Deductions are made for pitting, fogging or scratch lenses, pitted or peeling chrome, nickel showing through the chrome, and poor preparation such as scratches prior to plating. Authenticity deductions include such things as sealed beam bulbs on pre-1940 vehicles, incorrect T3 indicia, and halogen bulbs when not originally supplied. For cars prior to 1929, substitution of chrome for nickel is acceptable. Weather stripping for doors has its own category. Other rubber gaskets for seals, fender welting, are judged with the associated components. Cracked or damaged weather stripping warrants a condition deduction. Running boards and associated trim are a separate category and are judged for workmanship and condition. Incorrect materials or finishes on running boards are an authenticity deduction. After the judging is complete, the team captain must inform the exhibitor of all deductions for authenticity that each team member intends to take. The team captain is to resolve any disputes over authenticity items with the exhibitor, taking into account the documentation provided by the exhibitor. The exhibitor cannot object to deductions for workmanship and condition. If the team captain cannot resolve any dispute, immediately contact the National Chief Judge. The exhibitor shall sign each judging form at the completion of judging on page 2. The team captain shall advise each judge of the results of the meeting with the exhibitor. If the exhibitor has provided acceptable evidence to overturn authenticity deductions taken by one or more team members, those judges shall revise their form. Please take your job seriously. Be polite, be courteous, respect the car and the exhibitor. Remember, when you are judging, you are representing the Cadillac LaSalle Club, and you are to apply the Cadillac LaSalle Club standards to the best of your ability. Thank you for participating in the Cadillac and LaSalle Club judging program. We hope you found this video helpful.